I want to drive a point home here.
All right, Sage Wanderer here, coming at you from on our way to the fishing hole. So we are headed out to the lake. Going to try to catch some trout today, and we should be getting some fishing with Sage videos as we are traveling about. You can take a picture of me too if you want to see my ugly mug. Hey, what's up? Fishing with Uncle Sage up in the mountain lake. So as we go further up the hill, you can hear the engine winding. It's getting colder. We may not be in the snow, but we'll be able to see it from there. All right, we'll see you in a few with Fishing with Uncle Sage. Wonder coming at you from up by the lake. Check it out. I'm at the lake. This is one of my more favorite lakes to go to. This is not a high mountain lake. This is, I mean, there's some mountains back there. This would be foothills between the mountains and the valley. So we are at Hagg Lake today, fishing. Sometimes you can catch me out here. Let's see, I can't flip the camera. Oh well. So you're stuck looking at my face. Here, I'll get out of the picture. Yeah, this is a really awesome lake. We typically catch a lot of trout here. We just got set in here for some bank fishing. Typically, I have a canoe boat thing I bring out here with pontoons attached to a canoe and a lateral deck on top. And yeah, it makes it so you can stand up in the canoe and fish. And I got an electric motor that zips us around the lake. But it's early and cold enough, we thought we'd give it a shot from the bank. And see how well we did without, you know, dragging the big canoe boat system out and building it today. Maybe on a day when the weather's a little nicer, it's still kind of chilly. But yeah, hang with us. We'll see if we catch any fish today on Fishing with Uncle Sage. That's a nice one.
And beginning to flow and sing our song heart to heart and face to face. Start to pour out your heart upon that guitar. Pour out your heart upon that piano, upon that piano, the heart upon that piano.
I was sitting here answering some phones, some emails from the Sage Wanderer at gmail.com email site, and checking some of my comments on some of my videos, and that pole just started bouncing like crazy. I'm catching fish over here. My fishing buddy, he ain't doing so good, but I'm 2 and he's 0, so 2-0 on these giant trout we catching up here. Hagg Lake. Hagg Lake. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Just like crazy. Wish you were here, don't you? All right, he's Sage Wanderer coming at you from Hagg Lake. up in the mountains, not too far from Portland. It sure is a pretty day today. I will probably post up some video footage of today later on. Catching fish!
Still rainbowy. It's number 4, and then we had Hagg. Uncle Sage jaw hooked him perfect, just like it's supposed to be.
Whoop, whoop. Sage Wanderer here. I'm out fishing today at Hagg Lake. Got a little bit of sunshine. There's been some clouds. It's a bit chilly, about 48 degrees here on the lake. And I am catching rainbow trout like crazy. I got 4 beautiful trout on the stringer already, completely skunking my fishing buddy here. It's he's 0-4 against me today. So I thought I would take this opportunity, since I'm fishing, to tell you a fish story. And I've tried to tell this story once before, and I got a fish on, and I had to throw the I stopped filming and caught the fish. That was fish number 4. So I'm going to just keep the camera on my fishing pole. So if I start getting a bite, you guys make sure and yell out and tell me, "Hey, Sage, you're getting a bite." And but I'm trying to look at the pole and tell you a fish story. And this is a true fish story. I do not embellish my fish stories, because my fishing prowess is so amazing. It needs no embellishment. That the fish stories stand alone. Like, I can just tell you the truth. I don't have to make it bigger than it is. My true stories are barely believable as it is. So they don't need any help. All right. So those of you who know me and have watched my channel know that my old man, the Marine / Pentecostal preacher, was also a Native American guide. Well, he thought he was Native American. See my video, I was a fake Indian for the DNA truth. But he thought he was a Native American fishing guide. And boy, he sure lived the part. And we caught a lot of fish, and we put other people on the fish. And honestly, it runs in our family. My grandmother fished up until about her 90th birthday before she finally got to where she couldn't fish anymore. I think maybe she might have fished after her 90th birthday. And that would be the old Marine's mom. And anyway, so we decided to go fishing in the fall of 1980. And we were going to go crappie fishing in the Snake River, in an inlet of the Snake River near Richland, Oregon. Over kind of by Ontario, but Richland, Oregon, along the Snake. In the summer of 1980, they'd had a grasshopper plague in the Pacific Northwest. And these grasshoppers, especially over in eastern Oregon and Idaho, had just wreaked havoc on, on crops and grass, just like almost like a swarm of locusts, all these grasshoppers. But it made those crappies so fat because they ate them grasshoppers all year long. And by the time October came along, my goodness, they were big and fat and still hungry and ready for more. And we put 2 and 2 together and decided to go catch some of these crappie using yellow rubber jigs. The little lead head, yellow rubber skirted jigs. And those jigs looked a lot like a grasshopper, apparently, in the water. So, about an 18-inch leader, 24-inch leader behind a bobber with split shot and one of those jigs. And what would happen is when you would throw this out, as soon as your bobber would hit the water, plunk, really honestly, it would just start moving. Just as soon as it hit the water, it would start swimming sideways or go under or just start swimming in the opposite direction. And you just, reel tight till you feel them, reel it till you feel it. So you reel tight till you feel them, and then just give them a little pop, set the hook, because they call them paper mouths for a reason. So there was a lot of people fishing there with us, but they weren't catching as well as we were. And honestly, you could catch a crappie every time you cast your line. And so who was fishing? This would be me, my dad, my grandmother, and her half-sister, Paralee, my Aunt Paralee. Actually, my dad's Aunt Paralee, so my great-aunt Paralee. And anyway, so on day one, on a day trip, we each had a 5-gallon bucket. We caught so many crappie. There was no limit back then on warm water fish. And we caught so many crappie that we had to stop when our buckets got full. 5-gallon buckets, mind you. And so we had to stop when our buckets got full because we realized that we had to clean all these fish. That we don't throw fish away, and we were keeping them for food and putting up fish for the winter in our freezer. And we just went, at the time we got the whole 5-gallon bucket full, it was like, wow, what are we going to do? And of course, we made this rule, and then my grandma, who caught fish better than any of us, filled her bucket up first, and she kept putting fish in my bucket, which used to always make me mad. The bucket gets completely full, everybody's bucket's full, and it's only about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we just pack up, have a quick picnic lunch, pack up, and go home. And we start cleaning fish about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We clean fish all the way around till almost 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning before we cleaned all of those fish. We slept for about 5 or 6 hours. We got up in the morning, drove back out to that lake, and we, once again, did that impoundment on the river, on the Snake River. I think it's got a name. We just always called it the Snake River. But it may be like a lake attached to it, or I don't know. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. I need to go back there and do some more fishing. But anyway, yeah, we caught all those fish. We went back and we did it again. And I think we did it even faster this time. And we had 4 5-gallon buckets, or 20 gallons of fish that we caught. I think 3 or 4 days in a row we did this. And we filleted them, put the fillets in Seal-A-Meal bags, and the contents filled a freezer, a big, upright, full-size freezer, stacked full of nothing but these crappie fillets. And our hands were tore up after 3 or 4 days of this, but when we did a final count, because we knew how many fish would fit in a bag and how many bags we had in that freezer, when we were done, we realized that we had caught 4,500 crappie in 4 days. That's the 4 of us together caught 4,500 crappie, or more than 1,000 fish per person, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 to 300 fish per person per day in the fall, in October of 1980 on the Snake River in Oregon. Can't make this up. If I did, I would make it more believable than that. But that is my story. It is the truth. And I wish I could tell you I ate them all. But we ate fish till we were crazy with it. And then we sold the freezer and gave the fish away with the freezer to somebody we knew and let them eat the fish. We moved away, as we often did when I was a kid, moving around the Pacific Northwest in the 1970s and 80s. Talk to you next time with Fishing with Uncle Sage.
This is magic fish number 5 right here. This makes me completely skunk my fishing buddy who still hasn't caught one. Big fish, little pole, big fish. Big fish, little pole, jacked up reel. Look at this baby. Look at this thing. Swimming right there. Come on, lay it up on the beach. Right, oh!
Go get him, go get him, go get him!
Yes!
Yes!
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Not bad for an old guy. Oh my gosh. Look at this fish. Look at this fish. Look at this thing. Look at him. That's the way to go out with a bang. Look at this fish. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Come here, you. Ah. Oh. Yeah, he's a little muddy. He's a little muddy, but look at that rainbow. Let's get some water on him.
Don't let him go.
Oh, look at that. Look at that fish. Oh my gosh, that's a beauty. That's a beauty. He is so pretty. Oh. Put him on the stringer. Check this out. Look at this. What a day of fishing. I am such a lucky guy. I'm telling you, it's like good karma. It's good karma. I'm doing this good because I taught so many people how to fish. Oh, God's paying me back. Look at this stringer fish. Look at that stringer fish. Look at that. Look at that. Look what my day of fishing has brought forth. I am more than happy. That's a trophy fish to me. Wow, he's beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. All right, my fishing buddy needs to get with it. I get bored fast. Catch 5 in a row. Maybe you can. You want to use my fishing pole? All right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think maybe you're pulling so hard. That's a pretty stiff pole you got going there. So finally caught another one. That makes 3 for you.
Yeah.
So 2 more and we're even for the day. But you're still ahead of me for the year since you outfished me earlier in the year. All right, my fishing partner finally got into a nice fish here. Look at that. That may be the biggest fish of the day. You might have beat me with that fish. Look at that thing. Wow. There, next to my foot. That's a nice fish. You might have beat me. Boy, he's heavy. If we're going by weight, you might have beat me. That's a fine fish. Pick him up and show him off. That's not my line.
It's a brand new one.
Look at that. Pick that thing up. Now, this fish is probably bigger than you think. Since this boy is bigger than you think. This boy is 6'4", or a size 15 shoe. Yeah, look at that. What? Yeah, I think you beat me. He is so pretty. Look at that. Nicely done. Unless you want to burp afterwards. That's too funny. All right. Fishing with Uncle Sage and friends. Looks like the last fish of the day. Oh, there he is. Rolled up. I missed him. Oh, there he comes. Can't tell what size he is yet. Looks like a nice one. Bending your pole pretty good. Get him in, get him in, get him in. Whoop, whoop. There's number 10. We are done for the day. There's number 10. Number 10 fish. Look at that rainbow. That thing's beautiful. There you go. Nice fish, Big Bear. Well, that's a dandy.
That's it.
That makes 10. We'd be out.